All right, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Welcome to our graduate open house, our virtual open house for spring 2024. We're thrilled to have you here with us today. We're respectful of your time, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Anthony Mangar. I'm the Assistant Director for Recruitment in our School of Education at Loyola Marymount University. I'm also a proud alumnus of one of our graduate programs, PlayScore, and I've been working here in the School of Education for a little over a year after about a 5-year teaching career experience in Catholic schools. Joined with me today, I have Dr. Antonio Felix, and I'll have him introduce himself.
Yeah, buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Antonio Felix. I'm the Associate Dean here in the School of Education. I'm a proud graduate of some of these programs here. In fact, the certificate in Catholic School Administration, I was also able to get the MA in conjunction with that certificate. I'm here to answer any and all of your questions, and I look forward to learning more about you, more about your work and your interest in our programs, and most importantly, to learn how we can best serve you as you continue to discern your higher ed career.
All right, thank you, Dr. Felix. So the session today is geared towards our private school administrative programs. We have our certificate in Catholic School Administration, Master of Arts in Educational Leadership, and our Inclusive Education Certificate, to which both myself and Dr. Felix will speak to today. Who are we as a school of education? What are our mission and goals? So our mission and goals are animated by our university's mission statement, which includes the encouragement of lifelong learning and academic excellence. So not only do we provide you with an excellent education while you're here, but we hope that you will take what you've learned, the skills and the knowledge and the dispositions beyond the bluff, and take it with you to your school sites to engage in continuous learning throughout your life. The education of the whole person, which is one of our Jesuit pillars, where we educate you wholly, mind, body, soul, spiritually, as you go through our programs. And the promotion of service and justice for all, inclusive education for all of our students who go through our programs. Our mission and goals for all of our programs in the School of Ed are animated by these 3 pillars, and you'll see that as you go through to the points of our programs today. We are committed to engaging in the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we're a learning community that we're committed to social justice. And social justice for us may look differently, but we're also trying to strive for the same goals to foster a stronger understanding of the inequities, those marginalized populations who have been historically and systemically oppressed in our schools, to reduce institutional barriers for people of color and other marginalized groups. So we're walking with you on this journey, and to foster an inclusive culture in which all faculty, staff, and students can reach their full potential. What are some of the program benefits of joining our School of Ed at LMU for any of our programs, but specifically for our private school administrator programs? We boast small class sizes, 15 to 25 students in our programs, which then lends itself to individualized attention. Your professors know you by name, and so they're able to give you that individualized attention. We foster a community of care through our programs. Again, goes back to that notion of care for the whole person. We have expert faculty who are researchers, but also practitioners in their specific areas. Direct fieldwork application of theory and practice in K-12 schools. And our programs are designed for the full-time working professional like yourself, because you have either Saturday or evening classes. So what's our leadership program? I'll talk a little bit about our certificate in Catholic School Admin program and how that filters into our Master of Arts in Educational Leadership, if you so wish. If you're looking for a California Preliminary Administrative Services credential, we could connect you with Dr. Manuel Ponce, but that's a different program. I just wanted to highlight that our Catholic School Administrative Certificate program is designed specifically for Catholic school leaders or aspiring principals or current principals. And this program does not result in a California preliminary administrative services credential. And then we also have our doctoral in educational leadership for social justice. They had their own leadership session today for the open house. So I won't be talking about that. I'll focus on our certificate in Catholic school admin program. And then a little bit later on, Dr. Antonio Felix will address our inclusive certificate in education program. Our certificate in Catholic school admin is a cohort that starts in the summer. It's a one-year program, and its pillars are mounted on faith formation, leadership development, and professional advancement. And in each of these pillars, you are learning the skills and dispositions that are directly applicable to you becoming a Catholic school administrator. This photo here is from one of our most recent cohorts. This is kind of the culmination of a fun and exciting experience in the summer that we call Invitation to Lead, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through the session. What's the outcomes of this certificate program? Well, we want to prepare reflective leaders who practice critical reflection and contemplative practice that is grounded in a Catholic worldview and rooted in a well-formed Catholic identity, which is so crucial to the schools that we're serving. We identify, develop, and articulate a clear and purposeful vision for integrating a positive Catholic culture, environment, and curriculum that is rooted in a school-wide mission and vision statement. So we start by examining what's the mission of Catholic schools, how do you develop your own personal mission and vision, and what's your purpose for pursuing this certificate program. We examine and appraise Catholic school governance structures. So we look at those structures, what's transformational leadership, what are those models, and how they can lend themselves to provide direction, authority, and leadership in our Catholic schools. We articulate an intellectually rigorous program of education infused with the Catholic faith and traditions that promote student academic success, spiritual formation. We foster teacher professional growth, and we teach you how to do that in this program. And we emphasize a culture of continuous improvement. And that's embedded throughout all of the courses in the program. And again, we identify, develop, and articulate a clear and purposeful vision of operational vitality through sustainable financial planning, human resource personnel management, facilities maintenance and enhancement, contemporary communication practice, and institutional advancement strategies. And those are woven throughout the program, all those specific tenets that are needed for you to operational vitality as you aspire to become a Catholic school principal or in your current role as a Catholic school principal. So just some photos from our, like I said, exciting and fun Invitation to Lead experience in the summer. It's a combination of community gathering to get to know your cohorts. We have a mass, a couple masses throughout that experience, and various leadership activities and exercises that helps for you to start crafting your idea of who you are as a servant leader in our Catholic schools. Here's another photo with our fearless program director, Dr. Lauren Casella, who oversees this Catholic school administration program, what that kind of looks like throughout your summer immersion on LMU's campus. This is the only time that you meet physically in the same space with your cohort up until graduation, I think, because your coursework throughout the year-long program is completed virtually on Zoom. So you will see your cohort members on Zoom again, but the Invitation to Lead experience is so exciting because you get to meet physically and live in residence in the summer on LMU's campus with your cohort who's also going through this program, which is fully paid for by our generous donors. What are the courses that you take in our certificate in Catholic school admin program? It's 4 courses, 3-unit course that transfers into the educational leadership master's program, and then the Invitation to Lead in summer session 2, which you start out with, is a 1-unit course. In the fall, you take mission-focused leadership in Catholic education, which is sometimes taught by Dr. Antonio Felix. And then in the spring, we have organizational leadership in Catholic education, so kind of the business side of our Catholic schools. And then in summer session 1, to close off the program, we have our instructional leadership in Catholic education course. Your meeting times are on Thursdays, 15 meetings throughout the semester. from 4 to 6:30 Pacific Standard Time for each of these courses, fall, spring, summer session 1. We offer a generous tuition discount of 40% for Catholic school educators who are enrolled in this program. So, like I said, this certificate program, you can take it as a standalone program, or if you know your end goal is to have a master's in educational leadership, which is for our private school administrator pathway, you can apply to both the MA in Ed Leadership and the certificate in Catholic School Admin, and you would still receive the 40% tuition discount throughout both the certificate and the MA in and the MA in Educational Leadership. With the Catholic school program, like I just said, these were the courses, the first 4 that you take, and then there's an additional 6 classes that you take to earn the MA in Educational Leadership, and those are listed here. Which starting in summer session 2, Dr. Lauren Casella always kicks it off with this really fun and unique class, Innovation, Entrepreneurial Leadership, and Design Thinking. And then you have these other courses that you take, 2 classes per semester, and you meet every Tuesday from 4 to 6:30 p.m. So these are the courses for the MA program in addition to the certificate program. It's another photo from our invitation to lead in the summer. And at this point, I'll turn it over to Dr. Felix to talk a little bit about our certificate in inclusive education program.
Thank you, Anthony, and welcome once again. Stephanie, Anita, Janet, Teresa, welcome to the space. I'm grateful for your interest and wanting to learn more about some of the programs we have in LMU through the administrative track. What I love about the certificate in inclusive teaching is that it transcends context, right? It transcends settings or positionality, right? What I mean by that is that those individuals typically interested in our certificate in inclusive education are either current classroom teachers in Catholic schools. We have in the current cohort, we have current principals, we have diocesan leadership that includes directors of some of our networks. And then we had in the first semester, we had one of our regional superintendents. I share this with you because it's important to kind of recognize the scope of what the certificate can do for you and your school community. If you can, and if you're able to, I'd love for you to kind of get some context as to who's in the room. So if you're able to in the chat, just drop in where you're teaching, if you're in the class or your current position. I just kind of want to get a context of what of who is particularly joining us. Anthony, if you could go back to the perfect. That's very helpful. So what is the certificate in inclusive teaching or education? Our program outcomes are really centered around this idea of providing inclusive practices in the general ed classroom. Specifically, our private school teachers or our Catholic school teachers are the ones that we typically tend to get for this particular certificate, do not have specific classes for students with diverse learning needs. So because of the high demands of us, our Catholic schools and our private schools wanting to increase enrollment in our schools, we're now able to serve a more diverse learning population. But what happens is that we don't have the expertise in these spaces to be able to support you in supporting your students. This particular certificate program does that for and with you. Let me just go through some quick bullet points, then I'm going to go over some program outcomes. It's a 1-year certificate program that starts in the fall and ends in summer 1. So you will start in August of 2024, and you will end in summer 1 ends in June of 2025. It's a 15-semester graduate level program. So these classes that you take are transferable to the MA program as well. Okay, so these are graduate level courses, which means you're going to be challenged, you're going to be supported, and prepared to certainly serve the populations that have been entrusted to your care. It includes an activity-based practicum at your current school site. So we often say in the School of Education that we strive to bridge theory and practice, right? For our Catholic school educators, I push you a step further and challenge you to bridge gospel and practice, right? The idea of going beyond theory, okay? So one of the things that you'll find in your coursework is that you'll be able to really apply this work through a faith-based lens, right? Although the certificate is inclusive of all contexts, traditional public schools, charter schools, non-Catholic or faith-based private schools, and certainly our Catholic school partners, it allows you to apply your work through a faith-based lens so that you're supported back at your own school site. This is a fully online cohort, which means that your classes are both synchronous and asynchronous online. The classes are on Saturdays, right? We've designed this coursework around and for you, Catholic school teachers, because what happens is that we recognize that as a Catholic school or private school teacher, you take on multiple responsibilities at your school site, right? I'm just looking at what Anita does, and I see Teresa have certainly some context of Stephanie and her work. I know that you guys are maintained very busy at your particular Catholic school. Your classes, because of that, we've designed this program to have classes on most Saturdays, okay? The semesters in the fall and spring are 15 weeks long, so you'll only be zooming in or synchronously connecting 9 or 10 times out of the 15-week semester, right? That's important to know because we're very strategic as to how we develop this calendar for you so that you're able to still have a good work-life balance, right? What would that say of us of offering a certificate inclusive practices and teaching if we didn't practice them ourselves? On the weekends where you're not zooming in, you do have work. That doesn't mean you're off the hook and you get to go off and just relax. You will be engaging with asynchronous material and coursework, okay? So that you'll still have to set some time apart on your Saturdays, but you, as I often share, jokingly but very seriously, you can be zooming in from Cancun, or you can be asynchronously doing your work from, Puerto Peñasco. Is up to you. You get to choose your favorite place in the world. And yeah, it's the beauty of this program that it's online and it allows you to engage with it through your own space. I'm just kind of looking over my own notes to see what we have here. I think I've covered the most of it, Mr. Mangar. I'm not sure if I had another. Is this for me, Mr. Mangar, or is this for both of our programs?
I think for both.
Awesome. I'll let you take it over then, brother.
So since both of the programs that we're speaking to, the certificate in Catholic school admin, the certificate in inclusive teaching practices, they're both graduate level certificates, so you do require a bachelor's degree. In the online application, you will have a personal statement of intent to upload, and the questions that are specific to each of the programs, Catholic school admin versus certificate of inclusive teaching, will be listed in the online application. Bachelor's degree regionally accredited with a minimum 3.0 GPA, your current resume, and then an interview. For the letters of rec for the Catholic school admin program, that we typically ask that one letter of recommendation come from your principal or an assistant principal who can speak to your abilities to engage in leadership practices in Catholic school. Our tuition and financial aid, tuition for 2023-2024 academic year, since they are graduate level certificates, they're charged at the graduate level of $1,542 per unit. So the Catholic school admin program is 10 units. The certificate in inclusion is 15 units. So you would multiply that by 10 for Catholic school admin and by 15 for certificate in inclusive education. And then that's without any scholarships or discounts for Catholic educators that can be applied. There's a financial aid open house session at 6 p.m. So following this, I highly encourage you to attend that to find out more information about the filing of your FAFSA and other financial aid opportunities that are available to you for these programs. It's highlighted some testimonials here from people who have gone through our certificate in Catholic school admin program. Former principal at St. Mary's Academy. She's now the assistant director for high school academic excellence in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, Mary Rose. So leave this up there for about a minute or so or less for you to just read through her testimonial as to why she joined this program and her experience in the program. All right, this QR code is going to take you directly to our certificate in Catholic school admin website. So you could, if you're interested in that, I'll just leave this up there for about another minute for you to scan this QR code, and it'll go to our landing page for our certificate in Catholic school admin. And I can always come back to this slide towards the end. Another photo of our cohort from our certificate in Catholic school admin program. This was our cohort, I think, for about 2 years ago. And then I just talked about application materials, but again, one official transcript from their bachelor's that you submit that directly to graduate admission at lmu.edu, personal statement, current resume, and that letter of recommendation. So Dr. Lauren Casella is the academic program director. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She's at a high school doing an accreditation visit. Like Dr. Felix mentioned, as Catholic school educators, we wear many hats. So she was a former Catholic school teacher, principal, and so she still wears that hat. So does Dr. Antonio Felix in terms of being a support for the accreditation process. So she likes setting up a Calendly meeting time to talk to folks who are interested in the Catholic school administration certificate program. And that kind of serves as her interview for the program. So if you want to meet with her and ask specific questions, and she'll ask you questions and kind of probe why you're interested in this program, you can set up a meeting with her by going to this QR code and speak to her directly. So get on her calendar. That's always her next step so that she can kind of learn from you about your hopes and aspirations for this program. And then she typically would count that as the interview that's required for the program. She's spoken to you via one of her appointments. Again, I can always come back to this slide. More photos from our invitation to lead in the summer, very engaging 3 to 4 day immersion experience here on LMU's campus. Here's another testimonial from a director of vocation ministry for De La Salle Christian Brothers, a brother who also went through this program and was working in a Catholic school in New Orleans. All right, that kind of brings us to the end of our presentation. Please feel free to stay in touch with us. Our main email is soeinfo@lmu.edu. And up here on the screen, we have myself and Dr. Felix and Mary Fraser, who is our director of admissions. These are just a few of us who lend a helping and supportive hand to you throughout this process. Now is a great time to take any specific questions that you might have in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Dr. Felix and I will do our best to respond to those questions. Please know that this is not the only time to ask questions. If you log off and feel like you forgot to ask a question, hence our contact information is up here. Reach out to us at soeinfo@lmu.edu. We'll go ahead and take questions at this point.
Hi, I have a question. Thank you so much for all of this. It was super helpful. I just have a clarifying question though. If I'm interested in getting the master's in educational leadership, um, should I start out? Should I apply for the Catholic school certificate first? Anthony, you're smiling. Is this a common question? I just want to make sure that I'm clear. So should I apply for the certificate and then you know what I mean, and then transfer over to the master's program, or?
Great question. I would say my recommendation is if you know you want the Master of Arts in Ed Leadership, apply directly to that program. And then there will be a drop-down menu in there for you to select the Catholic School Admin Pathway, which automatically adds the certificate to it. So you'll graduate with both the certificate and the Master of Arts in Ed Leadership. Only because, like I said, if you're 100% sure, even maybe 90% sure you want to get the MA, then go that route, because applying to the certificate and then trying to transition over to the MA would require a separate application at that point once you are ready to make that transition. It's not an exhaustive application to transition, but it would require you to go through the process again, fill out something online again, submit. You might not have to submit transcripts. There's a few things you have to submit. Dr. Lauren Casella always refers to it as the mini application because you're already in the certificate and Catholic school admin program. And you would have to apply in before your last semester. So typically in the spring of next year, if you were to start the certificate this summer, by the spring of next year, you would have to submit that mini app. If you graduate and want to come back to the Master of Arts in Ed Leadership, you would have to go through the entire process again.
Okay, thank you so much. Also, another question. If I'm interested in applying for an admin credential, is there additional courses that I need to take through the program, or?
So that would be an entirely separate program because the courses in both the certificate in Catholic school admin and the MA in Ed Leadership are completely different than what is required for the administrative services credential as stipulated by the California Teaching Credential Commission to be able to get your admin services credential.
Okay, thank you so much.
You are welcome. Stephanie?
Hi, Anthony. I was wondering, so I know that to get the MA in the admin concentration, we do get 40% off as Catholic school teachers, but I was wondering, like, what would be the difference between joining CAST as opposed to doing that alone by itself?
The difference in terms of tuition?
Just in every aspect, tuition and like the program itself.
Dr. Felix, you want to take this or?
Yeah, can you rephrase the question, Stephanie? I think I understand it, but I just rephrase it and I should be able to help you out.
Sorry, it's a long day after report card, so excuse me if
okay.
I'm just
You're
like
good.
all over the I was wondering, like, what's the difference if I were to just do the master's in administration by itself as opposed to doing CAST? What would that look like financially? And then what would that look like in terms of the program itself? Or are they both the same?
When you say CAS, Stephanie, you're referring to the certificate program here, or CAS, as I understand it, which is the teacher prep program?
Oh, I was thinking more of the certificate and then the you know how we can transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I get it now. Yeah, so the CSLA, the certificate in Catholic school leadership. Yeah, so that's what I think in terms of the scholarship. So there's two elements to your question, right? In terms of the scholarship, as Anthony shared, the scholarship will carry over. You
Mhm.
start off with the scholarship that you have for the CSLA or for the leadership, Catholic School Leadership Certificate. If you were to decide to continue on to the MA, that scholarship will follow you into the MA piece. But your question is similar to Anita. Like if you know already that you want to do the MA, we would encourage you to apply for the MA. That way you don't have to reapply a year from now, because you could, the MA encompasses the certificate. The certificate alone will be an additional layer for you to apply for it. If you were to, it's not a big deal. It's an easy process. We would have the majority of parts of your application, but you would need to go through that process again. The coursework, Anthony, as I understand it, regardless of how you choose it, will still be that first year, will still be those 10 units for the Catholic School Leadership Academy that waltzes you into the MA in year 2. Was that helpful, Stephanie, a little bit?
Yeah, thank you.
So in a sense, it does get a little more challenging balancing wise in year 2, because in year 1, you're taking 1 3-unit course per semester, fall, spring, summer. But in year 2, you start taking 2 courses to be able to complete the program in 2 years, so to speak, right? First year certificate courses, second year you still have 6 to 7 more courses left to complete in a year. So you're kind of doubling up on courses. So in the fall, you'll be taking 2. In the spring, you'll be taking 2 courses of your second year. So financial wise, the first year might feel a little bit easier because you're taking 3 units with that 40% off. But in your second year with the master's, you'll be taking 6 units with that 40% off, if that makes sense.
Great point, Anthony.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question. It's Teresa. So from what I'm understanding is if I'm leaning towards applying for the master's, I'll just apply for the master's and then the units will then apply for their certificate in Catholic school leadership, right?
Perfectly said. Yes.
Then in terms of timing, the process would be total of 3 years or 2
No,
years?
2 years. 2 years. First year, just think first year certificate, you get that completed, you graduate, you actually get the certificate in your hand after the first year. And then by the second year, then you would acquire the master's in educational leadership, because those certificate courses transfer directly into the master's program.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I know this is going to be a hard question to answer because everyone's schedule is different. Since it's my first year in administration, I'm learning a ton, and it's a lot to take in. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to start the program soon or wait another year. I guess for time commitment, what has been like the range of time commitment from those who go into the master's program? What would you estimate as a weekly time commitment?
Can I take that one, Anthony? Do you mind? Just like
Yeah,
teaching that
go for
first year. Yeah. So,
Yes.
The way I think it's set up, Teresa, in fact, favors you in on a multi-dimensional way. One way is that first year truly is lighter. That first year in the coursework that starts in that summer. I think that summer 2 is like a 6-week session. It's time demanding, but it's not, again, it's designed with the full-time Catholic school educator in mind. So it does have support systems in place to assist you and your cohort members to be successful in the program. In fall and spring, you only take 1 class. So you'll take, in the fall, if I happen to teach it again, will be the mission-focused leadership. I would say, gosh, it's kind of hard to tell how much hours is expected. On Thursdays classes from 4 to 6:30, I was expect about 2 to 3 hours in the week besides that class for your
Okay.
readings and assignments. My rule of thumb is for every unit, it's a couple hours a day. But again, that's just a my would preference, but you are the custodian of your time. So it
Right.
would be best, you'll best navigate that. I do know, I can speak for myself, that there's a lot of, I like to say our folks in the School of Ed have a good ethic of care, and they work and support our students to make sure that they find success in their work. If I were to teach this fall, I would say you'd have that commitment for me. I could always certainly speak for myself and with high level of confidence. So the other thing too, Teresa, is in the second year, you'll be taking 2 courses. So it will increase in terms of demands on your time, right? Here's what I typically say. In 2 years, time will have passed by anyway. And that's what I always kind of was the measure of my time. I remember when there was times I had planned on starting a program, my doctoral program sooner. 3 years would go by. I'm like, 3 years would have just gone by. It never got easier for me specifically. I always found myself engaging in something more professionally and personally whenever I took on these endeavors. So I think God's timing is the best timing. And I'm happy I could say this in this space. I know I'm in a room full of Catholic school educators, so trust your God's timing, Teresa, but also trust in what we share with you, that you'd have support from your faculty and program staff.
Okay. Thank you for your honest feedback.
Welcome.
And just to add a little bit of clout to our program, as the recruiter, as I sell this program, Dr. Felix is well known in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. He was a former Catholic school educator, went through both our master's programs and the EDD program, and is now working here with us in the School of Ed, still offering his services to Catholic schools, well known. And Dr. Lauren Casella, likewise, she is on the board of the National Catholic Educators Association, NCEA. So talk about networking, talk about the reputation of the program. You will get your bang for your buck for investing in this program.
Yeah, I have a friend who's in the certificate program. She's a teacher in San Diego, and in just learning a little bit about it, and she was just very enthusiastic about it, and highly recommended it. And she thought, and of course, with the tuition assistance, that is a huge plus as well.
Awesome. We love to hear that. All right. If there are no other specific questions at this point, like we said, please feel free to reach out, soeinfo at lmu.edu. I will also go ahead and put back Dr. Casella's Calendly QR code here if you didn't get a chance to scan that to set up a meeting with her. She is always willing to, and I'm sure she'd love to meet with each of you to learn about your goals for the program. She's amazing. So thank you for being here today. We appreciate your time commitment to coming to learn more about our private pathway programs. And